We're getting a decent reaction from Southampton fans who are very much buoyed up by the prospect of the new ownership, Simon, at the football club. Alex Crook, of course, is right across that and brought us the news first and fastest on talkSPORT yesterday. The news was officially released sometime after Alex joined us. Alex put his neck out yesterday and said, this is happening. And Alex, you managed to give us a fair bit of detail on it yesterday, very early on, so fair play to you. And I think you've got some more details for us as well on that. Our talkSPORT colleague Alex Crook with us this lunchtime.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jim. First of all, can I thank Trevor Sinclair for my early morning wake-up call this morning? Very handy, getting me out of my pit. But yes, this deal for Southampton, I think their fans are right to be excited. I think they seem to have found a safe pair of hands to take the club forward. One of the questions that Simon was interested in yesterday was the actual value of the transaction. I'm told the deal is worth £250 million, so quite a lot more than the £100 million that has been reported elsewhere. And as Simon's already alluded to this morning, I think that extra money does take into account some of the historic debts that these new owners, Sport Republic, are going to have to take on. The bulk of the cash is being provided by the Serbian media tycoon Dragan Solak, and the real football expertise comes from Rasmus Ankersen in particular. And I think what we've seen with the way that he did business at Brentford, this Moneyball system, that really will be an extension of what Southampton have been doing anyway in the transfer market. Again, Simon's alluded to it on a number of occasions. They tend to pick up young talent and sell them on for substantial profit. I think that will continue.
Okay. Alex, you mentioned Trevor there. He seems to be in a minority of one throughout the country that Kieran Trippier isn't going to Newcastle United just for the money. Everybody else says Kieran's going just for the money. What is the latest on Trippier? Because to me, 12 million quid changing hands between Atletico Madrid and Newcastle, I'm thinking, no, it's bound to be more than that. Would I be right?
Yeah, you would be right. I think it'll be a lot more than that by the end of his contract. It's a 2.5-year deal with a year's option on the end of it. I make Trevor right in some respects because I think there are family issues at play here. We know that he was desperate to return to the Premier League last summer when Manchester United was showing an interest. That didn't happen. I think his family want to relocate to England, and that is a driving force. 12 million up front, Jim, as you say. My understanding is that the overall fee could end up being around double that with add-ons, which include a substantial payment if Newcastle stay up this season. Kieran Trippier has flown to the northeast to undergo a medical today. It will be a 6-figure salary, making him the highest paid player, not just on the books at the moment at St James's Park, but the highest paid player in the entire history of Newcastle United. And I'm told they felt it was important to make a statement signing the first edition of the Saudi Revolution.
Okay. So it begs the question, Newcastle fans already at us, who's next?
It does, doesn't it? I mean, they must have been linked with over 100 players since that Saudi takeover. The name that I was given and told to keep an eye on last night is the Everton fullback, Luca Dean, who, of course, we've spoken about a lot in the transfer sections that we've done. Clearly, he is persona non grata at Goodison Park. There's been some kind of issue between him and Rafael Benitez. He's been heavily linked with Chelsea, but my understanding is that Newcastle are paying a close attention to that situation. And he fits the mould, really. I know that Eddie Howe likes his fullbacks to attack. Kieran Trippier can clearly do that on the right-hand side. I think Luca Dean, with his Premier League experience, would provide that attacking threat down the left as well.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people want Lucas Dean.
Yeah, I mean, I've not been impressed with his defending, I've got to say. Out of possession and in them final third areas, defending his own final third, stopping crosses into the box. But going forward, again, I feel it'd suit Newcastle to play wing-backs. Kieran on one side, Dina would do a superb job on the other side, getting forward, getting on the ball, dominating possession. And if they can get a forward partner, someone who's going to go up there with Callum Wilson to do a good job, Aubameyang, I think that'd be a fantastic move for them.
Trevor's had another rush of blood to the head, Alex. You probably heard that there. He wasn't sneezing, he actually said Aubameyang. Are you hearing anything on that one, Alex, that Aubameyang could end up as part of this Newcastle revolution?
Well, there were rumours in the national newspapers at the weekend, weren't there, saying that Newcastle had been offered Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think that probably is the case. I think a lot of clubs are being offered Aubameyang because Arsenal are so keen to get him off the wage bill. I spoke to somebody close to Eddie Howe because I couldn't see it as an Eddie Howe signing, and the person I spoke to agreed that really is not the type of player that Eddie Howe would usually sign. As I mentioned yesterday, when it comes to the type of characters that you need, and I think Kieran Trippier will bring that to the dressing room. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, the fact that he's being forced out of Arsenal because he keeps turning up late, is that really the type of guy that you need in the trenches with you when you're trying to stay in the Premier League?
Yeah, but I'm not
convinced.
It's not just science. Sometimes you need that maverick, especially in their position. Someone who's going to go in there, proves a few people wrong, score a lot of goals, and then you can move.
To be fair, you can't benchmark what Eddie Howe can and can't sign because he's never had an opportunity to really sign players of that ilk, has he?
No.
I mean, when he goes and signs players like Jordan Ibe, you can answer that question, can't you?
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he's now at Newcastle with a completely different dynamic of what he can and can't sign.
Alex, you were at Old Trafford the other night and you saw Wolves do a job at Manchester United, and two standouts. I mean, all the Wolves players did well. Moutinho and Neves. Neves constantly mentioned as a possible target for a whole number of top clubs, and in this window it's no different.
Yeah, he was absolutely sensational on Monday night alongside João Moutinho, as you say, really bossed the game in midfield, really exposing the tactical deficiencies that Manchester United are showing under Ralph Rangnick. And I do understand there's a lot of unrest in that Manchester United dressing room. Some of the senior players not particularly impressed with their new interim manager. We spoke about Ruben Neves to United last summer. They were certainly showing some interest then. My understanding is that interest has indeed been reignited. They're not the only club who have sounded out, Wolverhampton Wanderers, about the availability of their central midfielder. Lots of Premier League clubs clearly admiring the player. I know Bruno Fernandes would love his fellow Portuguese to arrive at Old Trafford. He's 24, Neves. He's got 2.5 years left on his contract. I think it would take a huge offer to persuade Wolves to do business in this window. We're talking between 50 and 60 million pounds. I'm not sure that Manchester United have that kind of cash that they're willing to invest in this window. That will price a few clubs out, I think. But if he does stay, I would expect, and I know Wolves are expecting, a real fight to keep him next summer. So certainly one to pay close attention to.
Alex, well done, mate. Well done with all the Southampton graft you put in for us yesterday and today. Thank you so much. Alex Crook with us this lunchtime. It's 12:30.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.